Well, North America continues to get a little bit more European flavor. Both Optic and Clutch Gaming have now finalized their rosters. They got all 5 guys. Let's start by looking at Clutch Gaming. They announced Febiven coming into the mid lane. A guy who said he'd never come to NA is now in NA. They got Solo in the top lane. Okay. So those are the final 2 pieces. They're joining 3/5 of Envy, Apollo, Pakuo, and Lyra. I mean, at first glance, you got to think this is better than Envy.
I mean, yeah, because Febiven's obviously an upgrade over whether it was Ninja or Niski. Obviously, Febiven's a great talent, one of the better mid laners in Europe, was in that all-star voting, was in that first team voting situation as well. So he's been around for a while, whether it was Fnatic, whether it was H2K. He's definitely a top-tier talent, and he's going to bring a lot to this team because they struggled in the mid lane at times last year. You look at the top lane with Solo, a lot of people are like, first of all, who is this guy? Well, he subbed in for Echo Fox a while ago. He was playing with GCU last year. Not really sure what to expect from this guy, but he's 24 years old. I kind of thought he was younger than that, but apparently he's been around the scene for a while. And at the end of the day, it'd be difficult to do worse than Seraph did with Clutch Gaming last split. So you needed a domestic guy. There's not a ton available. Solo fits that bill. Plug him in there and hope that he can just hold his own while the rest of the team, which is pretty solid, Lyra, Apollo, Hagaho, and Febiven, can hold their own on that bottom side of the map. So overall, I think it's a pretty decent team with just maybe a slight weakness due to the import rules in the top lane.
Yeah, but again, it's hard to be worse than Seraph, as you mentioned. I think he's either the same or even a little bit better, and Febiven is a huge upgrade, I'd say. So, I mean, Envy finished 6th last split. You got to think this team's more than capable of finishing around that same area. Obviously, the top-end competition is looking much more difficult than last split with some of these teams and rosters that we're seeing so far. It's pretty stacked up there, so we'll see how Clutch Gaming fits in there, but you know, it's pretty solid. It's kind of, again, it's one of those teams where you're like, you have no idea what the synergy is going to be like on this squad. Febiven never played with any of these guys, of course, because none of them have ever been in EU. So it's tough to see how that synergy will go there, but at least there is that core nucleus here of the 3 Envy guys that have experience playing together. So, I mean, that should help out. We'll see what the communication is like with some of these new teams, and we'll see how much that hampers the teams going forward.
Yeah, at least, you know, Febiven's very good at speaking English. He's done it his entire career.
I've heard his English. It's not bad.
It's almost like it's fluent
yeah,
or something like that. But yeah, it's just going to be getting that synergy with Lyra. Lyra has to deal with 2 new solo laners, so we'll have to see how the synergy comes together with Solo, with Febiven, and then the bot lane already knows what Lyra's up to, so you should have winning lanes at least in mid, and that bot lane was one of the surprising surprises.
Surprising surprises, yeah. No, they were definitely one of the best laning bot lanes last split, which was very impressive and ranked quite highly on Freak's AD carry tier list.
I don't want to talk about his tier list.
You know, it was interesting. It was interesting. That's all you're looking for, something interesting. The other new team that has finalized their roster, Optic Gaming. Matt's making a face. Listen, people were expecting Optic to, you know, shell out a whole lot of money and put together a super solid team. Well, I mean, if the goal was finishing 10th, I think they accomplished that with this roster that they've put out.
They have the 10th best bot lane.
They have the 10th best bot lane. So they finalized the roster. They did bring in PowerofEvil in the mid lane, which is, you know, another EU guy coming to NA, another top tier mid laner from EU coming to NA. And then finalizing that bottom lane, they already had Arrow. They bring in LemonNation. Listen, there's a couple supports, domestic supports, that are currently not on a roster that you definitely got to put above LemonNation.
Biofrost, Adrian, X-Special, Afromu potentially is available.
Yep, that's 4. Do 4 teams need a support?
LemonNation.
People thought he was maybe going into a coaching role, but it does look like he's going to come back. He's coming back on Optic. Listen, he's not a horrible player by any means.
No.
He kind of got caught out a lot on FlyQuest, but I mean, a lot of guys were getting caught out on FlyQuest. But that laning phase with Arrow and LemonNation, I'm not sure how that's going to go.
I know how it's going to go.
Not
It's going to go poorly.
Not too well.
But yeah, and then they got Zig in the top lane, which is, again, when you look at domestic top laners, he's one of the better ones. I'm not sure what Larlo's situation is after Impact takes over for Team Liquid. Maybe Larlo would be a better top laner than Zig. But overall, I think he was pretty solid again for Phoenix 1. There wasn't a lot of bright spots, but at time, Zig was one of them along with along with Mike Young. They had some good synergy up in that top side of the map. So we'll have to see what he and Akaadian can do. Obviously, I'm sure Akaadian will be playing around PowerofEvil a bit more than that bot lane to see what can happen. But right off the bat, you're starting with what looks like to be a disadvantage in that bot lane because Arrow and LemonNation, not so much known for their laning. Arrow more of a team fighting guy. He had a negative 4.1 CS differential at 10 minutes last split with Phoenix 1, so that's not great. And then you add in LemonNation, who he's not a flashy player, and as you mentioned, he got caught a lot last split. So I'm not living the bot lane. PowerofEvil's a great signing, obviously, but he's gonna have to do a lot of work on this team. Does not have the same supporting cast he did on Misfits.
Yeah, he doesn't have really the same supporting cast he's had on any of the teams he's ever played on. So I am curious as to what his salary is that this team drew him away from Misfits, a team who took SKT to Game 5 at the World Championships. Because, yeah, this, based on the other rosters that have been revealed and what other teams are putting together, this is definitely bottom 3 at best.
This is the worst lineup I've seen, in my opinion.
Yeah, worse than Golden Guardians.
Which has nothing on it.
No
the goose egg.
The goose
egg.
egg. So
I'd rather have nothing.
You'd rather. You want the blank slate. So 2 of these new teams have come in and completely finalized their rosters. 100 Thieves have 3 out of the 5. They just need a bot lane. And Golden Guardians still have nothing.
I mean, there's pieces available still. There's a couple guys. Hai has been rumored to be going to an NBA team. There's only one left.
That doesn't have a mid laner, that's right. So, Hai going to Golden Guardians, confirmed 100%.
I honestly believe those shifter, the shifter leak.
The self leak.
I don't believe at all.
Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more esports content.